like to call to order the December 12th Ascension Parish Recreation Meeting. All councilmen are present except Councilman Lambert and Malonzo. Councilman Kluge will lead us in the prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone please stand.
In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Dear Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the blessings upon our parish. Let us be diligent in leading in the right direction. Lord, we ask that you ask everyone to look forward and look around their neighborhood to take care of the elderly and the needy in these times of cold weather and distress. Lord, we ask for a special blessing tonight and special prayers for the Moran family of Santamon for the tragic loss of their brother, Barry J. Moran. Lord, we also ask that you look with your prayers upon the Meir family of Gonzales for the loss of their father, Robert Meir. And also, Lord, thank you for the blessing to bringing our local National Guard troops home from Kuwait in time for Christmas. We ask this in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We ask anybody that wants to sign up to speak, they have the public speaker cards at the podium, and go ahead and get a card and sign in. Go to update number 4, the Hillerville Park update from Ms. Martha Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Just wanted to give you an update. We have been calling our state parks director, who has been working with Atlanta on updating us on the results of where our application is. It went in September. We've got an update in October. We had the shutdown of the federal government, which set things back. It's now December, so what we've done is called in a couple of our congressional delegation representatives to actually call and check on it from their standpoint, since it's a national park. The funds come from there. So we hope to have something in the next week or so. I believe it's 2 applications in front of us, but they are in line to be reviewed and approved. So that's all I can give you a date on. Hopefully the congressional delegation will be able to give us a little more firm date of when we can expect approval.
Okay. Are we looking at, well, I know you said you couldn't give us a firm date, but are we looking at anything less than 6 months, over 6 months?
I'm hoping by the end of the year we'll at least have some type of where they actually are reviewing it. It's Christmas holidays, a lot of that, but maybe in, January. If we don't have something by the first part of January, then, we'll call again our congressional delegation. They might come up with something fairly soon. I don't know. I can't tell you, but they are working on it, and we've done everything that we can do to get something. It's just, it just takes time, and the shutdown put us back on that. So those things were just unforeseen.
And is there anything members of the community can do to try to push the process along, as far as maybe calling the congressional districts? Or
if you would like to call the congressional districts, we've already gotten some of them working on it. Why don't you let them work this right now? If it doesn't get any help, then I'll come back to you, Mr. Chairman, and say, look, we might need more people calling, but I've never asked them to do something they didn't follow up right away. It might not be the right answer we want to hear, but they will get an answer from them.
Okay.
Okay?
Question.
Any other questions?
That's it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Almost made it without Mr. Jesse.
No, I just want to, because the word came out that, you didn't need to build a park behind the fire station. That's okay with us. If you're gonna go and buy some property somewhere else, but it seems mighty strange. If we giving property and somebody said we didn't have to
Mr.
keep.
Josie, I have no knowledge of that. We have only gone through Gallon Food Park, which is the one that we did all the appraisals on, everything is set. Now, if something's changed, it won't happen with this.
I just wanted clarification because,
Okay.
you know, we went through a lot of stuff that did the
Yes,
property.
sir.
I mean,
That's the part that's the area that's getting approved.
okay,
All right.
thank you.
Call me first if you want to know.
Okay, I'll call you, man.
All right, at this point, we'll go to the recreation plan presentation. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. I know we made a lot of phone calls as far as this recreation plan dealing with the local coaches in the parish, basketball, football, baseball, soccer, swimming, to get your input as far as what type of recreation system you would like to see in our parish. And we came up with I'm not going to say a rough draft, but envision the parks closer to home with trails, arts complex in the parish, and also upgrading our local parks. What we want to have in the parish is something that you can be proud of, that's closer to home, where you won't have to drive to Baton Rouge, New Orleans, or other parishes to try to have a good time with your family and other family members. As you can tell, I'm not used to using a clicker when I do a speech. Our first part we'd like to talk about is the facts of our parish. We have a young parish. And when you have a young parish, you need things for those youth to do, be it arts, sports, just something that they're not just sitting idle. Because everyone in here knows that a child that's sitting idle is going to get in trouble. Like they say in church, idle hands are the workshop of the devil. If you look at the presentation here, I think some of y'all may have the handout. It's a little hard to see. But for persons under the age of 18, our parish has a 28.1% compared to the rest of the state, which is 24.3%. Also, family households with children under the age of 18, we're 38%, where the rest of the state is 30%. So as you can tell, we have a fairly young parish compared with the rest of the state. And also the growth of the parish from April 1st, 2010 to July 1st, 2012, the young population has grown 4.8% compared to the rest of the state of 1.5%. So as you can tell, we're growing. And with that growth, we're getting a lot of young couples in with young children. Because I say I'm in that number because I have 3 young kids under 18. So, I'm always looking for things for them to do. The current state of the recreation and Ascension. The way the Ascension Parish recreation is funded now is $2.1 million annually and 10% of a 1% sales tax. We don't have a dedicated sales tax. It's unlike any other parish that has any decent type of recreation system. Baton Rouge has their own dedicated tax. Livingston does. All the major parishes do. We're the only parish of this size in the state that doesn't have its own dedicated fund. And since we don't have a dedicated fund, that means as far as when our parks or recreation needs to be upgraded, we have to count on capital outlay and grant assistance, which means that when something is upgraded, it has to be phased in as those grants and capital outlay money become available. It makes it very hard for us to plan to maybe build a new basketball court, football field, baseball field, just because those funds aren't readily available and we don't know when it's become available. Why do we need recreation and activities? I touched on that a little earlier as far as keeping the kids out of trouble. And also, it's a health issue. Kids that are sitting around at their house texting on the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox, I know many of our parents prefer their kids not to be sitting on their phone texting or on their iPad all day. Kids need to be outside playing. And a good, healthy recreation system will give the kids that opportunity. Also, it helps keep them out of trouble. Right now, I'm over a nonprofit basketball organization. We have 6 teams here. And a lot of those kids don't necessarily come from the best home situation. But I can see when they're with us, they might have a father figure in the home, but the coaches act like father figures to those kids. Good role models, showing them what should be done. And it always feels good when we're helping those kids out and helping them pick their grades up, getting them out of trouble, giving them something to do, and just letting them experience different things in life that they might not experience at home. So recreation is very important in that sense. And also, it also instills self-confidence in those kids. It gives those kids a sense of accomplishment, knowing they can do something, working well with others to help achieve a goal. Next part we have here is the recreational OST activities. I know most of y'all probably wonder what OST activities are. And when I was first reading about it, I didn't know what it was either. So I had to go ahead and Google search it and find it. But what it is out of school time. And what we have here is a few studies showing that when youth are involved in activities, that crime rates in those parishes or in that area tends to go down. We have a 2002 California survey, Proposition 49 and 2007 study, and New York study. You know, as y'all can see, California likes to do studies. And they're doing, as far as what they can see, the more money you spend on recreation, the lower the juvenile delinquency rate goes down. What we want to do is envision our parks. Why we want to envision our parks closer to home. I know everybody in here has probably used the parks in Baton Rouge. I'm pretty sure everyone in here has used the parks in Baton Rouge. And most of y'all have probably used the parks in Livingston Parish. But you got to ask yourself, why can't we have that type of park system, a recreation system in our own parish? So our parents won't have to drive 30, 40 minutes away, fighting traffic, trying to get to Baton Rouge or wherever else they're trying to go during the week or on the weekend. You know, why can't we have something close to home? And also, the benefit of a recreation system also gives, it brings in more tax dollars to the parish. I'm pretty sure everyone in here has went to those large youth tournaments with 200, 300 teams. When those teams come in, they're bringing a mama, daddy, grandparent, brother, sister, and they're spending tax dollars where they're going. Why can't we have that type of system here in Ascension Parish where we have facilities that we can host those large tournaments and have those tax dollars come into our parish and help prosper our parish? Envision our parks, upgrades. One of the main things we need to do, we have 16 local parks in our parish. We need to upgrade those parks as well. We want to improve the lighting, upgrade the tennis courts, add a few dog parks to the parish, add an additional spray parks to the parish. I know we have a park near my home, it's probably maybe a mile and a half down the road. But we don't have the tax dollars available as of right now to make that park something a lot of people will go to. I mean, I ride my bike down that road every now and then, and there's usually nobody there. What we want to do is make those local parks something you can be proud of and something people in that community will want to use and show off to the community. On that map there, it has a listing of those parks, where they are. So, you know, if you're not familiar with where your park is, you can just look at the map and see where those red dots are. I know it's probably kind of small, and know where your local park is located. Also, we want to try to build a large facility at the Lamar Dixon as far as adding a multi-use indoor facility with basketball courts, volleyball, an auditorium. Currently, we already have the fishing pond there, but we also want to add the archery range, the tournament-style baseball fields, and the performing arts theater. I know my little girl's turning 3 now, so I'm pretty sure she'll start doing dancing next year. And I really prefer to be able to go to Lamar Dixon or somewhere close to go see that dance recital. And I know most of y'all that have daughters that participate in dance or cheerleading are probably going to the Centralplex in Baton Rouge. So, I mean, you're there all day, you're spending 30 to 40 minutes to drive down there, can't find parking. I mean, I don't know about you, but I prefer to be able to go right down the street and go to it, even if I really don't want to be there in the first place.
Come on now.
But, you know, gotta support the family, though. At this point, I'm gonna turn it over to Mr. Joseph. We're gonna bring up the plan for the Donaldsonville area as well.
The map. Should be.
So,
Yes. This is a master plan, just like Lamar Dixon have a master plan with it. And Donaldsonville, we purchased the Louisiana Fairground 2 years ago, and we came up with a master plan and this park here need upgrading, and we have 4 baseball parks. As you can see, 3 small baseball park and 1 large one. We have tennis courts on it, and we want to upgrade those. We also will add outdoor basketball courts, a small skate park, and a water spray park with a playground area with a walking area. And also 2 soccer field and a football field. You can change them around. And we already added the pavilion in the area. It's already have been built. So this is the plan for the complex on the west side. And hopefully, we need any more input, please come to the meeting and give your input as we go in the future. But this is the plan for the west side complex. Thank you, Mr. Turner.
thank you. Okay, what we have here is a picture of the complex we hope to build at Lamar Dixon. And what you can see to the top left-hand corner, well, I wish I had a pointer, but I'm just trying to. Left top-hand corner, we have football fields. If you look to the bottom right-hand corner, would be the soccer fields. Pretty sure everybody can see the big blue, and that's obviously a lake where, you know, the fishing pond. We also have the baseball fields, and the good thing about the baseball fields is that they're going to be modeled after actual Major League Baseball stadiums. So it'll be pretty nice fields. Looking at 6 football fields, 4 baseball soccer fields, and those are full-size soccer fields, which can be reduced to 8 half-size soccer fields for when you play with the younger kids instead of just the older kids. You also have a pavilion for concessions, and you have a performance arts center, which is, got a little glare where I'm standing at, but I'm not sure if it's where y'all are, between the pond and the parking lot. That's the performing arts center where I go see my lovely daughter dance at. Also, you know, the main thing we have going, we want to make sure we have a strong local park system as well as a strong facility at Lamar Dixon that everybody can be proud of as a parish, and that can be used to help generate funds into the recreation department and to be closer to your home so you won't have to travel those long distances to get to that type of recreation that you're looking for. You want to have those soccer fields that you don't have to go to that rec field on Highland. You know, even though that's pretty close, that's still 20-minute drive away. We want to have those nice facilities at your local park. I know I'm assuming, I'm pretty sure most of y'all probably stay within 5 to 10 minutes of a local park. I know in Darrow we have 2 parks. Most people in Darrow are maybe 5 to 10 minutes away from a park. Prairieville, Santa maybe 5 to 10 minutes away from a park. And if those parks are something you're proud of, more people will utilize those parks. So you won't drive by and just see anyone there, just no one there. And also get the kids something to do, get them off the couch. And one of the main reasons why we want to also put those walking and jogging trails around those local parks to give the adults something to do, the older generation something to do, to exercise. I know most of us need to exercise, especially with these holidays going around. I know I need to be able to go to the park, walk around, try to lose some of this weight while the kids are out in the park playing around. So that's why we need those strong local parks. Another idea that we've came with, that's been brought to us, is to develop a man shack boat ramp. So people can jog, ride their bikes, and get in kayaks. And I'm sure most people probably don't get in a kayak because I've never been in a kayak, and I probably don't plan on getting in one. But from what I hear, it's pretty popular, and a lot of people like to get in the kayak. And that's something we're looking to try to work with BREC on to extend it with that BREC program and make it one long continuous trail from the BREC trail and the development BREC has done with theirs. Envision. Now, everybody knows something like this will cost money. It's not free. They're not just giving it away. Right now, what we showed you is approximately $25 million. And what we're looking at, we're trying to explore all options to fund this program. What we want to do is meet with committee, citizen groups to come up with ideas of how to try to fund this program and also to make modifications to our plan. This plan you're seeing here is just a base. We don't want to meet with groups in each area to discuss different things you may want to add to your local park, different things you may want to add to different areas of the parish. We want to get your input. We don't want this just to be the council's idea. We want this to be the citizens' idea. We want the citizens to take charge of this and let us know so we can fight for what you want in your park. Certain areas may want more basketball courts. Certain areas may want football fields, jungle gyms in their local park. So we want to give you that option to let us know what you want in your area. We don't want to dictate that. We want you to tell us. So those citizen groups and those meetings in your local area will be very important so we can refine this master plan and put forth the plan that the citizens of this parish want. What we're looking for is to have this master plan completed by April 2014. So from now until then, we're going to be having those committee meetings, group meetings in your local area. I know a few of our areas have community centers, so we're going to try to use those centers to meet with individuals to find out what do you want in your local area. In closing, I know y'all probably tired of hearing me talking. I'm getting tired of walking back and forth. We want to envision parks closer to home, meet the needs of our parish now and in the future, and enhance the quality of life in Ascension. I know we have our comment cards up there, and we're going to go ahead and give everybody that wants to speak a chance to speak. But I feel very strongly about having a strong recreation department in our parish. I didn't come from a bad background, but I still feel like our parish, the recreation helped me to become the person I am today. I made lifelong friends through it. Just tried to stay in shape in the younger days. It's probably fell off a little bit now. I probably need to be on somebody's team doing something now. But when I was growing up, that was the guys I hung with. We played basketball together. We played football together. We tried to play baseball. We weren't too good at baseball. We tried to run a little track. But that is what youth need to stay out of trouble. We still talked in class, but we weren't out there vandalizing things and just causing that type of trouble. Just talking in class, small things of that nature. And that's what we want done now. We don't have a bad juvenile problem in the parish, but we want to stop it from getting there by giving those youth that's coming up. Because the parish is only going to keep getting bigger and the population is going to keep getting younger. We want to give them that opportunity to have the things they need in their life. That concludes the presentation, and now we will go ahead and call the speakers up. The first speaker we have is Trey Arnold.
First, I wanted to, elaborate a little bit on what Councilman Turner was talking about, the plan for the envision for the recreation. For baseball, this past year, we had 50 tournament teams just in East Ascension. In the local Ascension Baseball League, we had 62 teams, total of 112 baseball teams, ranging from ages 7 to 18. In our parish, we have maybe 12 fields to accommodate 112 teams. So and as you see, is, we definitely need more fields to help accommodate these kids that want to play ball. In the fields that we currently have, I saw on the plan that there's some plans to improve the parks, but the lighting at these parks are horrible. It's dangerous for kids out there trying to see balls off the bat, and it's not for lack of effort, because everybody's trying. It's just lack of funding to help these parks, and it's hard for these kids to play ball if they don't have the money behind them to support them. And having this new fields over here at Lamar Dixon will not only give these kids more fields to play at, but you can also bring in these big tournaments. The surrounding parishes, Baton Rouge, Livingston, West Feliciana, all have big tournament complexes there. All the state tournaments, World Series tournaments, are held at these ballparks surrounding us. And with these 112 teams that we have twice as many teams as all these other parishes, but half the number of fields. And if you look at the future, in T-ball alone this year, we had 665 kids playing T-ball. That was 57 teams from ages 3 to 6. So this is not going away anytime soon. We have kids coming up for years and years going to be coming in playing ball, and it'd be nice to give them a nice place to play ball when they get older. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Charles Cayette.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Charles Cayette, the Ascension representative on the Atchafalaya Trace Commission. That's the managing entity for the Atchafalaya National Heritage Area. Deborah Kadur, the executive director of the Heritage Area, sends her regards and apologizes for not being here. She's attending a meeting out of state tonight. And I'll be representing the Trace Commission in the Heritage Area. The Heritage Area Management Plan approved in 2012 by the Department of Interior calls for the development of trails and identification of culturally and historic sites throughout the area as part of its mission. The primary method of trail development involves support for local government and non-governmental organizations in each of the 14 parishes of the Heritage Area. The Heritage Area resources are available to connect local organizations with outside funding sources. Specifically, the idea of a levee biking trail, a paddling trail along historic Bayou Manchac, and a nature trail in the proximity of the Bayou Trail are of interest to the Heritage Area program, among other possibilities. We've seen from activities in other parishes in the area that it becomes much easier to acquire outside funding when the local citizens have stepped up and provided local funding to start the process. So we support the efforts of Ascension Parish and the other 13 parishes to provide destinations for visitors and activities for local residents, and wish the parish luck in developing a comprehensive recreation plan. Thank you for your efforts on behalf of the Trace Commission and the Heritage Area. And we especially support activities that I heard tonight, where the parish is working with other parishes, especially East Baton Rouge, to connect the resources among the parishes, because that's what we're all about. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker we have is Pamela Cayette.
Hi there, I'm Pam Caluette. I live on the banks of Bayou Manchac, and I want to thank you for considering the bayou as part of the rec plan. I think everything you said is true as far as it being a good, I'm sorry. I feel like it would be a good idea to do something as far as provide access to Bayou Manchac, not only for locals, but also for tourists. There are many people out there in the paddling community, kayaks, canoes, whatever, who ask often, how do you get to Bayou Manchac? How can I access it? And the only answer we've got right now is there's this really cruddy launch off of Muddy Creek Road that you really don't want to use, or you can go up to Baton Rouge and go to one of the few places along there, and then you got to paddle down to Bayou Manchac, or you can go to Big John's, which is on the Amite River, and you can try to paddle back up the Amite River. All of those things don't work very well. So I think that it's a good idea to develop something so that people can readily access the bayou. I think that it would be a good tourist draw. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next speaker is Brandon Bennett.
How y'all doing today?
Welcome back.
Man, Mr. Oliver, I gotta say, the first thing I heard and thought was pretty good is the proposal to the skate park on the in the Donaldsonville side. I've been involved with the parish for about 10 years now. I got involved back when I was about 18 years old and helped build the skate park that's about 500 yards behind us. And seeing just what that little piece of land did for the youth out here was pretty fun to see. And I was sharing a story with Chris and everything about that, and just to see the difference that it made for some of the kids that were coming out there was a good thing to see. And I'm involved with the co-ed softball out here. I've been playing sports out here since I can remember, and I think the plan that you're proposing, Mr. Turner, is a great thing for the parish. I think that people need to support this. We're growing, and we're not going to stop growing. So I think it's a good thing that we need to support, and I hope people get involved in this and continue supporting it. So that's all I want to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Jonathan Scott.
My name is Jonathan Scott. I live in Prairieville. I'd like to applaud you guys for this whole recreational plan, and especially some of the funding ideas that I've heard discussed about funding the plan. I also live on Bayou Manchac. Here in Ascension Parish, we have a 10-mile long flat water bayou that sees very, very little boat traffic. On any given weekend, I might see 3 boats. There are some weekend days when I see no boats. So I have absolutely no qualms about having my kids' friends, as many kids as I can get over to the house, in the water. We've got kayaks, canoes, paddle boards. Mr. Turner, if you'd like to try your hand in a kayak, we'll take you out. But it's a fantastic resource. The kids feel like they're going on a little adventure. Here in the Southeast, we have a very large, very active paddling community. We're home to the oldest paddling organization in the state, the Bayou Haystackers. There are hundreds of paddlers on the water every weekend here in Southeast Louisiana with a giant vacuum around Ascension Parish. I encourage you to take advantage of what you have. We have a number of small waterways throughout the parish with nobody on them. And these are perfect paddling opportunities if you have a place to put in and a place to take out. The thing about paddlers is they like to feel like they're going on a little journey. If they wanted to just paddle out and come back, they'd go find a lake somewhere. But I have 2 sons, 6th grade, 2nd grade. They've been in sports since they were 4, right here in Ascension Parish. Soccer, baseball, you name it. But what we do have seems to be pretty much limited to those activities. So if I'm taking them on a biking trail, on a paddling trip, going out to do something, we are always traveling to another parish. We have a lot of still undeveloped low-lying property here in the parish that may never be developed, and I encourage you to look at some of those low-lying areas for the development of trail opportunities for the kids, bike trails, BMX, any kind of trail rides where we can go out and do stuff and not have to travel to Tangipahoa Parish or another place like that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mark Peterson.
My name is Mark Peters, Hope Youth Development. I wanted to speak a little bit about the west side, Donaldsonville area. Mr. Oliver showed you the master plan of what was put together for the Donaldsonville area. One thing that I would like to say is on that side of the river, we do have, by purchasing the property 2 years ago with the ballpark, we do have 3 tennis courts that are there, and we've upgraded those courts once in the last 10 years since I've been back, and it needs more attention brought to the tennis court. On the West Bank, I do tennis, golf, soccer, and also flag football on the West Bank as far as recreation. One thing that I'm glad to see is with the playgrounds. Kids from 0 age all the way up to 12, 13 years old, they are developed by utilizing playgrounds. So I'm excited to see the emphasis put on playgrounds because kids are developed through playgrounds. And the information that I gave you guys about 4 months ago as far as the study that was done in Louisiana to show the necessity of having playgrounds, walking trails in your community, it helps everyone in the whole parish. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you. Next, we have Mike Latalos. Latchley, okay.
Yeah, it's not a common name in this parish. I'd like to do a little comparison, just to give you some statistics. I'm going to compare Lafayette to Ascension Parish. Acreage-wise, Lafayette Parish is 270 square miles to 303 of Ascension Parish. 11 square miles of Ascension Parish is water. So there is enough land to make multi-sports facilities and golf courses. Now, I'm not privy to golf. I am very sports-minded nonetheless. But where I'm going with this is, okay, Ascension Parish has about 110,000 people. Lafayette's got 220. Lafayette's got 32 park and recreation centers. 20 of them, at least 24 of them, have lit ball fields. That's soccer, football, baseball, basketball, tennis. Multi-sports facilities. You can take a tennis court, turn it into a basketball court. Okay, you can share the time. Parks and Recreation, Ascension only has 8. Neighborhood associations, I'm talking like AYSA, etc. Lafayette has 7. And they generate, when they hold tournaments, they generate some serious money. They put back into their organizations, back into their fields, and they help the parish. Ascension Parish has 4. AYSA is one of them. Pony used to be one of the organizations that I was a league president at that time. That was during the Harold Marshall era. No offense there. Now, when I was president of the Pony organization, we had a regional pony tournament. Now, there was a tournament going on at Gore at the same time. Both tournaments generated $4.3 million in Ascension Parish. I don't think AYSA saw any of that money, or Pony did. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's a long time ago. What I'm getting at is these organizations, these neighborhood organizations, have the capability to generate these funds with the help of the parish, of course. Mr. Gore, God rest his soul, donated property for Gore Park. I think it's one of the best things he ever did. Okay, I coach there now. I was president of one of the leagues there for a couple of years. Can you imagine all the girls in one area playing ball on a tournament weekend? That's a whole lot of raging hormones. Okay, but never. We need more ball fields. Right now, I personally built a batting facility in my yard. I let other teams use my batting facility. My neighbor lets me use his acreage. I strung out a ball field to practice my girls. He uses his backyard to practice football. You see where I'm going with this? We have no room. We need more fields. Thank you.
Thank you. That's the last speaker we had. We're going to skip number 6. Parish President, you have any questions or input?
I just want to say I'm impressed with the plan. It's the first time I saw it tonight, the overall plan and the scheme, and I think it's good and certainly something that we need. We're going to continue to grow, and that's basically what we've been saying. And at some point, you got to fund these activities. We are at giving 10% of the 1 cent sales tax. That's not a whole lot of funding, $2 million a year. Can't do a whole lot with that. I think we do a great job of what we have. But when you don't have the resources, it makes it tough. You hear about parks. I mean, we talked about all parks tonight, not just about Lamar Dixon, but Lamar Dixon is an opportunity. It has 110 acres of open ground that can be developed into whatever parks you wanted to do. The master plan looks good. That's just one of the facilities that we're looking at here. And of course, the west side, that was kind of the vision when we bought the, I think it's 14 acres there, property in the city of Donaldsonville that will create, something there that can with the master plan there, that kids can enjoy in the future. But as you heard, Ascension Parish has one of the youngest populations in Louisiana, and we're going to continue to grow. And that's our future. And if we don't invest in our future, we're not going to have a future. And that's basically what we need. So I hope you can develop this over the next few months into something and garner support for it and give our kids a future.
Thank you. Councilman Joseph had a comment.
Yeah, my comment is, I've been here now for about 8 years, really, seven. And when I first got here, I was chairman of recreation, and we started doing the same thing you're doing right now, Mr. Turner. And before I was here, they had plans. They had, I don't know, Tommy, how many they had? About 6, 7 of them? And every time they had one, it always came up to the bottom line of funding. And it was always about, we scared to put it on the ballot, because it's always going to be no, Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, I've been here a long time watching this recreation plans, and it's always been no funding. Sooner or later, we're going to have to be grown-ups, and we're going to have to vote to fund something. We've seen roads fail. If we put sewage on, we pretty much say it's going to fail. Now we trying recreation. It's not going to be up to this council to fund this project. It's going to be up to the public, citizens of Ascension Parish. That's where I'm with it. I'm going to be honest with you. Just give it to the people. You voted up or down. But my job has been done. I gave you an opportunity to say you want it or you don't want it. And that's what people elect me for, to give you the opportunity to say what you want. So this council, this committee, is not going to make a decision for you. You, people of Ascension Parish, are going to have to make that decision. But I'm hoping that you vote yes for it. $25 million. That's a lot of money to a lot of people, but I think St. Tammany just did about a $70 million project. They didn't have a problem, but they growing too. But they see the future. So I'm hoping everyone come together and we make the right choice for the future of Ascension Parish in recreation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Chairman Lohr.
I just wanted to extend my congratulations as well to you on this plan. I know, as Councilman Joseph said, there's been some plans pushed around in the past before, but this is, I think, the first time I've ever seen a real comprehensive plan that not only envisions some things for Lamar Dixon and what we could do with that property, but also a very detailed list here on the parish park, local parks. And I just want to, I know how much effort you've put into this over the last couple of years and doing community outreach and coming up with this, and I think that is going to be a key part of the steps forward here, is continuing to do that and refine that plan. And then, of course, it's how do you fix it? To what Councilman Joseph said, we are going to have some serious conversations among ourselves and the public. I want to say something else, though, in the run-up to this about funding. I've heard it said that this is a nice-to-have, but it's not essential, and I just wholeheartedly disagree with that. I understand that roads and sewer are as well, but if we had $500 million for infrastructure fall out of the sky for us, we'd still probably be behind on infrastructure. Let's face facts. This is essential. I think the stats that Councilman Turner researched and showed prove that it is an essential part of the community for not just quality of life, although that's extremely important, but in reducing juvenile crime and in making this place a better place to live. It's about more than just bare essentials in a community. I think that the support from the citizenry who have spoken tonight and some of the things that they mentioned, the struggles that they've seen in dealing with it, I think this is something the parish absolutely needs. And I'm committed as well as I know this committee and the rest of us on the council to doing something about fixing this and getting recreation where it needs to be, because it is an essential part of our community. Thank you.
One small thing I forgot to mention.
I got one comment. Looking at the plan, we got about 30 ball fields, 30 different parks now that's on the books, or somewhat of the 16 plus some new ones that's coming. And from what I can understand, we're going to put about 17 million on the Lamar Dixon parks and only 8 on these 30 parks. I'm wondering if that's enough funding to do what we want to do to these local neighborhood parks. I've seen a lot of upgrades. I guess y'all did some numbers on them as far as whether or not that was enough funding to.
Yeah, we did some rough numbers.
I've seen boat launches, I've seen tennis courts, and I know all that is very costly, so it's just something to look at, I'm all for recs, and I think all the community parks is a plus to have them all throughout the parish, because someone living in Prairieville and has to bring their kid to a ball game at 5 o'clock across the parish. I think y'all said it takes about 20 minutes to get to Baton Rouge, but in the evenings it takes you more than 30 minutes to get from Prairieville to this side of the area. So it's something to look at. It's good to have these parks spread throughout the parish, and I think it's easier on the families, easier on the moms when they rush coming in from work. Both parents work nowadays, and when they come in to get their kids to the parks, it's good to have them close by because they rushed. They knock off of work, they get home, they get their kids there, and so yeah, it's good. I don't believe in putting it all in one basket, so it's good to spread the parks all throughout the parish. But I'm just concerned that the majority, make sure that the funding is proportioned right, because to me, that's a lot going one way. Thank you.
Councilman Kluat, and we're going to put him on a 3-minute timer.
I'm good with that. Chairman Turner and committee, thank y'all very much for bringing this presentation forward. And thank you, Chairman Turner, for your tenure on helping the youth in the parish. I tried to referee a baseball game one time, me and a good friend of mine, when the referees didn't show up before we had that organized a lot of years ago, and we got beat up by a bunch of grandmas. So I kind of backed away from that since then. But look, one of the real good things, look, I am 100% behind you with the improvements at Lamar Dixon and bringing that. We talked to a lot of the league folks around, but the improvements in the local parks are much needed. And my hat's off to you guys for working to get all the improvements in the local parks in that. Personally, my wife take the grandchildren, and she comes up to Jambalaya Park here, put a little plug in for the city, And, I have Santa Maria Park that I can run a trip over the fence and get to, that I would love to have similar things and, amenities at that park and some of the improvements, and I know we got some in there for that. And I support this effort 100%. Lamar Dixon, I do believe in it. I believed in it from the start, from when Mary Lee Dixon and the folks got together and built it. I still believe in the horses, but I believe in the total recreation scene. I, too, like you're going to look forward to going to the dance recitals. I started off going to little dance recitals here in Gonzales and the area, and I ended up over there at the Centralplex, and then eventually the River Center, and I'm that old. But anyway, it would be great to have that. And we, you know, we could take a serious look at this, but all of it needs to be done. You know, we have a bunch of needs in the parish, but this is one of the needs, and I'll back you on this, and we need to try to find a funding source for it. Thank you, guys. Appreciate your effort.
One thing I forgot to mention, we have a handout as far as giving information for the local parks. I want to make sure everybody gets one of those handouts before they leave, so when we do have those group meetings in each individual area, you can just get an idea of what people have been saying as far as what they want in that area. I seen our state representative Ed Price came in. I'd like to recognize him. Councilwoman Terry Castle. School board member Mr. Richard Brown, and City Councilman Terry Irvin. Did I miss anybody? Okay, thank God everybody. Okay.
Well, if we got all of them in here, they must be very important. They're interested in recreation.
And we got Mr. Ricky Compton here. All right, we go to number 7.
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Meeting adjourned.